Well, speaking of someone who both is in music and in acting, I just love to see your transition. I mean, I've been a fan since I was a little girl of Keri Hilson, the musician, but just seeing your transition going into acting, it's so good to see. Tell me a little bit about where that came from. Is that always something you kind of had on the back burn that you loved as well as music? Tell me a little bit about that transition from music to acting.
Yeah, I think it was a very slow transition, just because I had done like cameos and things like that early on in my career, and honestly, the only experience that I felt I had was music videos. So I did learn like angles. I learned, about lenses and a little bit, and setups and things like that. So I got my feet wet with music videos, but film is a totally different world. And that transition, I think, was slow. I think we started with Think Like a Man, I want to say, was the first little cameo I did. And then Riddick was a very, very, very small role. It was like a don't blink kind of role. And I don't even know what was, I want to say Love by the 10th Date was the next. Okay. I might be missing one or two here and there. And then it was Don't Waste Your Pretty, which was my fourth film, which I'm not really good at looking backwards. But so yeah, I got my feet wet with music videos, then it was cameos, then it was like a small role, then it was like
leading
a little bit bigger, with Love by the 10th Date with Megan Good, Kelly Rowland, Calais Stewart. We it kind of followed our stories, but I wasn't a lead. I was a lead, but not the lead. Right. That's what I'll say. And then it went to lead actress, and it but I love having the transition because it allows me to feel like a student again. Okay. I feel like I'm learning and growing and mastering something else, and that's always fun for me.
Yes, and I love can't put Keri in a box. Can't put Keri in a box.
That I can't do that.
Just one of my last questions. When watching this film, it kind of really touches on a huge subject, which is like self-worth and knowing your self-worth. And I know your character and your castmates also go through that a big of a deal. And like I said, Women's History Month is coming up. Would you like to touch on that? Just self-worth. I mean, especially within the industry, I feel like just women just go through the ringer. And sometimes,
I don't even know if that's isolated to the industry.
All
men of all ages, races,
all across the board.
All across the board, we go through
it. And if you could give some advice just on touching self-worth, doesn't have to be cliche. I mean, I know I could never hear too much of it. I know there's times where I get down on myself and I'm like, all right, I need that like clip from X interview. I just need to just get back in my bag. Can you just touch on self-worth and really realizing your self-worth?
Sure. Sorry. Having your correct perspective of yourself is so very important. And I think where a lot of women go wrong in the self-worth discussion is undervaluing and overvaluing. Okay. Where you undervalue yourself, we have to see ourselves clearly. We have to know that the things that we expect, the boundaries that we set, and this is an unpopular opinion, I'm sure, but you have to be honest with yourself and have a high sense of self-awareness to truly evaluate yourself. Okay. And work on those things constantly, because you are what you attract. So when we're having a discussion about value, I'm like, well, let's talk about the true essence of you. Are you, you know what I mean? Are you your best?
Right.
Are you the type of woman? Yeah, it's like, I think that's the realest way that I can state that. It's like, I really want, you can have high standards, and you should value yourself highly, but you should also reach that bar that you see yourself at. You should strive to constantly reach that bar.
Definitely. Yeah. I couldn't agree more. Just to close, tell me a little bit, this film seems so The chemistry just seems so fun and so natural, both between
Oh my God.
classmates and even the male characters. Tell me
Yeah.
about the energy on set. I mean, this is your first, like you said, your super leading role,
Yeah.
and you're alongside some great castmates. Tell me about the energy on set. Like, were you guys just cracking up the whole time? Were there blushes or the red cheeks? Like,
Definitely. When I tell you, so Deborah Joy Winans and Tamara Bass, like she actually, she's the director, and she came in super serious, right? But me and Deborah Joy started hitting it off. Well, they had already hit it off, and then me and Deborah Joy started hitting it off while in makeup. Okay. And you know, preparing for our scenes, we're rehearsing and blah blah blah. So Tamara Joy had a really, really serious start. Mm-hmm. And me and Joy were kind of like giggly, like we just made each other weak. We were doing the guttural blush face laughing, like we didn't need no highlight ever.
Just having a good time.
We had a good old time, and then once Tamara joined in, oh, it was a wrap. Of course, we still did our thing on camera, and you know, there's a time and place for everything. But we had a blast. We would have lunch together. It was a great experience. The guys, Redaric, Rico Ball, we had an amazing time.